All right.
So from a geeky point of view, let's, talk about when you're doing, in the height of your session career, when you're doing multiple sessions a day and whatnot, what kind of stuff are you bringing? What is expected of you? Do you have a thought of?
It started out different. Back in the old days, it was like, a deluxe 335, a Les Paul, Telly, have acoustic guitars ready to go. And you'd have to have all the latest gear, the latest little pedals before any of this, the Bob Bradshaw scene.
Right.
Buzzy Featon was the first person I ever saw with a Bradshaw rig, and that would be like the late 70s. Michael Landau had the second one. Then I said, I got to have one of these things. I did a session with Mike, and he had all the stuff, and it was just great sound. I'm going, damn. I was still using just old school stuff, just plugged into the amp. You know what I mean? Just
which probably sounded fantastic.
It was great, but as time went on, now here's the bad part. Please excuse my pug dog.
Oh, savage beast.
Savage pug dog beast, like the talking dog from Men in Black. You know what I mean? It's that dog.
Exactly.
Perfect for me. No, back in the old days, it was just, the simplicity of it all. Like, you listen to Larry Carlton on Joni Mitchell's Court and Spark, and that's just like, Larry threw up like a deluxe or, something small, a small amp, you know what I mean? And it doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? All the old guys, you look at Graydon, who's like, does a solo with the deluxe.
Right.
And he always used that, what is that, the thing on the guitar? It was not Ernie Ball.
The Doug Armstrong, Dan Armstrong.
The orange squeezer. That was Jay Graydon had that on his guitar at all times.
Oh, there.
This is Potato. This is my daughter. Named her Potato. I don't know.
What a majestic beast.
Tater. She's a sweet dog.
That's a good dog.
Every home should have one.
Absolutely.
Anyway, ask me some more guitar geek questions.
So did you have people cart right away, or was that like a later thing? Or
no, Carnage was big, especially in LA, because there were studios all over the place, and I used to have a couple sets of gear.
That's what I thought, because if you're someplace in the morning, you got to be someplace else.
We used to do, we were doing a lot of sessions at the time, 20, 25 sessions a week. So you'd see a lot of the same guys, and this is the best times of my life.
Right.
And I wrote about it in my book a lot,
Which, by the way, everyone needs to get. The Gospel According to Luke. Fantastic. I actually got the audio version, so I would go for my walks in the morning, and I'd be hearing you describe your various activities. It's fantastic.
I laugh at my own jokes. It's terrible, man.
That's fantastic. You gotta. Well, I was also interested on that is how weird is it to have your own autobiography in terms of you're talking about all this stuff. You have people calling up going, well, that's not exactly the way I remember it. Or were there things that you really wanted to put in that you couldn't because they were there
was a lot of things I couldn't put in.
Right.
I just couldn't because I just couldn't.
Right.
Leave it at that.
Yes.
And I wouldn't. I didn't want to write a book that was going to mess with people.
Sure, of course.
Or put them down or, hurt people's personal relationships and that sort of thing, no, that's not what I'm into. And a matter of fact, not one person called me and said that's not how it was. I got a lot of like Steve Picaro and people like that saying, no, thanks. That is how it was. And thanks for telling the story, because we can never tell the story because the Toto story will never be told because of Jeff Picaro's widow. I mean, she won't allow unless she has full control of everything. And I would just as soon slit my throat than let that happen.
Right, I understand.
She doesn't know anything. She just thinks that she does. And I don't want to interact with her ever again in this world. I don't know what it is about her that hates me so much, but it's sort of been a cancer in the whole family. And I've gotten to the point in my life where I only want to work and be around people that that I get on really well with, and that we're friends and we're doing this, because, the music business is in a very strange position right now, as you well know, in terms of what they play on the radio, what kids think is music. I mean, we were listening to Close to the Edge when we were 16. What is a 16-year-old kid listening to now?
God only knows.
Yeah, you have like 20 writers in the lyrics.
Right.
There's 20 writers. And then you have Bohemian Rhapsody written by Freddie Mercury.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go, there's kind of a difference in the compositional content.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though it was very operatic and very influenced by another's, we're all influenced by everything.
Right.
And you go, you have your own style. Your style is an amalgamation of everything you've ever loved.
That's true.
Put into one body. And that's the same with me. The same with anybody. Same person, you go to Larry Carlton, oh my God, you're my favorite guitar player in the whole world. Or you go to Lee Ritenour, oh, I've never heard anybody play gut string like that before ever. You're legendary, you know what I mean? It's like, well, that's just the way I play. It's just like the way you play. When you pick up your instrument, you go like, well, I guess I'm going to play like Greg Koch now. That's just what you play like. And some of the crazy whacked out you do when you do your talks over the, and your demonstrations you have a lot of humor in your playing, which a lot of people don't have. And they think that that's not cool or something like that. Right. Like to have a little bit of humor when you quote something,
play like you are, you know what I mean? It's like you play.
You're a weird guy and I love you for it.
Is that wrong?
No, but the thing is, the way you talk, the way it's funny, but it's informative and you learn something and you just see that it's you. And really what you're doing, you play all these instruments from a 335 to your guitars, to any old Les Pauls or anything. And really the bottom line is you sound like you. Now, these are great instruments, and there are little quirkinesses to them that have a tone. A telly sounds like a telly and stuff like that, But it makes you play different.
Absolutely.
When you pick up a Telecaster, you don't play the same way you do on a Les Paul.
No way.
Don't. You go for different licks right away.
Exactly.
Because it has that sound, that spank that you love, Exactly. And there's some guys that do that. You do it, and there's some guys that just do it so good. Like, you're Albert, you're a lot of the country guys, some of the sick-ass country guitar players there are.
Yeah.
That are just these bluegrass guys, just
it's insane.
Jaw-dropping. You just go, it shouldn't be allowed to be that good. Even when you look at the old Chet Atkins video,
oh my God, ridiculous.
Where he's playing through like a tape delay.
Right.
You see the actual tape machine going.
Yeah.
And he's playing Mr. Sandman or something like that. And it's just stunning.
The Chet stuff is
yeah, he takes a cheesy little tune like that and makes it so hip.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's when and he makes it look like it's effortless.
Right.
Like, oh, this is nothing. And then you try to play and there's flop sweat.
Oh my God.
Well, you have that. I don't have that. You have that style. You've studied it, obviously. It's now.
At one point, I just forced myself to, because I would see people do that stuff, the Chet thing and the Merle thing, and I thought, you know what? Before I die, I got to learn how to do this crap, because I saw people like Doyle Dykes sitting by themselves and being able to play something by their lonesome, and
that's the thing.
I was like, I want a little bit.
But I'm saying, I know what you're saying when, I love these guys that can sit down and just play by themselves.
Yep.
A guy like Rodney Crowell.
Oh, yeah.
Sit down and play you these beautiful storytelling songs that mesmerize you. And it's just one guy singing and playing and singing these songs from the heart, from his childhood. That's the stuff that moves me. That's like country music. Not rock and roll with a pedal steel.
Right, exactly. I agree.
That whole thing that they do now. It's
difficult.
It's not country music, really. It's not George Jones. It's not
Johnny Cash.
It's not Johnny Cash. It's not any of that. Those guitar players that have when they'd hit that low drop D deep down, down, down.
Right, yeah.
Then you just go, oh yes, that was the perfect lick.
Yes, indeed. What are you gonna do?
James Burton, and all those cats that did to play all this crazy great stuff that you just go, that's a style. Indeed. You know what I mean? And then you have a guy like Andy McKee, who takes things and does it a completely different. I got turned on to him because he did a version of one of our cheesy songs, Africa. And
that's a great song, by the way.
Well, thank you. Anyway, what I'm saying is, like, he did a version of it in his style, and it got sent to me, and I found him. I said, dude, this is incredible. You have such a unique style. And then he got turned on to Rittenauer and all these other people, and he's made a career. And I just love to see greatness spread around.
Was one of my all-time favorite tunes was that Pamela tune. I just loved that tune back in the day. That record blanked.
Thanks, man. I was proud of that record, seventh one record. That was we worked hard on that record. I mean, it was George Massenburg and Billy Payne co-produced it with us.
Ah, yes.
And from Little Feat, and it was a different energy back then. We really wanted to give it our all, and we really spent a lot of time and money on that record.
Yeah, there's a lot of goosebump moments on that record when you crank it up. There's power.
You're very, very kind, Greg. I appreciate that, man, more than you know.
Plus, that was when that record came out. I was listening to it. That's the same summer I met my lovely wife. So there's a lot of good memories attached.
Is your name Pamela by chance?
No, it's Sarah, but that's a great name.
Now, you guys have been together for how long? So that would be at least 30 some odd years.
30, yeah. Well, we've been married. It'll be 26 years this year.
You better not forget.
And then we were together 5 years before that. So
you know what real love is.
Well, yeah. You know what?
That's good, man. That's a good thing. It
turned out all right.
It took me 3 times. I've had a lot of girlfriends in my life, but I've only been married twice. And I met a great girl that I'm in love with right now. So
excellent.
So that's a good thing.